The great meeting hall floated in space like a massive crystal bubble. Inside, creatures from across the galaxy sat in their special chairs, breathing different kinds of air through tubes and masks. Some looked like tall blue people with 4 arms. Others were small and fuzzy like teddy bears. Few were just floating lights that spoke through machines. They were all scared. Ambassador Kethvar from the Altarian Republic stood up on his 6 legs. His blue skin had turned pale, which meant he was worried. "Friends," he said in his gentle voice, "we are losing this war. The Zephyrians have taken 12 more worlds this month." The fuzzy, bear-like creatures from Maloia made sad whimpering sounds. Their leader, Elder Poff, spoke through her translator. "They destroyed our peace gardens. They turned our singing forests into metal factories. We cannot fight beings who enjoy hurting others." In the corner, a creature that looked like a walking tree rustled its leaves nervously. "My people have never seen violence before the Zephyrians came. We do not understand why they want to hurt us." The floating lights dimmed. With sadness, through their speaker, the crystalline collective said, "We have existed for 10,000 years without war. How do we fight those who live for battle?" Kethvar nodded sadly. "Our combined fleets have the best shields in the galaxy. Our weapons can stun enemies without permanent harm. But the Zephyrians do not care about stunning. They want to destroy everything we have built." On the big screen at the front of the room, images showed the destruction. Beautiful cities with gardens and art now lay in ruins. Peaceful creatures ran in terror from gray ships that shot red beams of death. The Zephyrian soldiers looked like giant insects with metal armor and weapons that could cut through anything. "We have tried talking to them," said Captain Zealand, from the Harmony Coalition. She was a tall, thin being with skin like silver water. "They laughed at our peace offers. They said we are weak and deserve to be conquered." "How many worlds have we lost?" asked the representative from the Singing Stars, a creature that looked like a small whale with wings. 47 worlds in 6 months, Kethvar answered. "At this rate, they will reach our core systems within a year." The room fell silent, except for the humming of the air systems that kept everyone alive. These were creatures who had spent thousands of years building a society based on peace and cooperation. They shared technology, art, and music. They solved problems by talking and finding solutions that made everyone happy. But the Zephyrians were different. They came from a world where different tribes fought each other for resources. They saw kindness as weakness and peace as an invitation to attack. Their weapons were designed to kill, not stun. Their ships were built for war, not exploration. "About the defense fleet?" asked a small round creature with big eyes. "The defense fleet was never meant to fight a real war," Admiral Zexkull replied. He was tall and blue like Kethvar, but older, with scars from the recent battles. "Our ships are designed to stop criminals and pirates, not an entire empire that wants to destroy us." "Maybe we should surrender," whispered Elder Poff. "Maybe. They will let us live in peace if we give them what they want." "No," said Kethvar firmly. "The Zephyrians do not want peace. They want slaves. They want to turn our beautiful worlds into ugly factories. They want to destroy everything that makes us who we are." The debate continued for hours. Some wanted to hide in the deepest parts of space. Others wanted to try building bigger weapons. A few suggested asking the ancient races for help, but those beings had vanished long ago. Finally, a young worker from the information department raised her hand. Her name was Mora 5, and she was part of a race that looked like silver robots. "I have been looking through the old files," she said, in her mechanical voice. "There might be another option." Everyone turned to look at her. She was nervous, with small sparks jumping between her metal fingers. "I found records of races that refused to join our peaceful alliance," she continued. "Most are too primitive or too far away. But I found something strange. A species called humans, from a planet listed as Class 12 Deathworld." The room became very quiet. Everyone knew what a Deathworld was. It was a planet so dangerous that most beings would die just from landing on it. "What does the file say?" asked Kethve. "Our Mora-5 read from her screen." "Duh! The planet rotates once every 24 hours. creating extreme day and night cycles. The gravity is 1.2 times standard, which would crush most of our people. The atmosphere contains a poisonous gas they call oxygen that would kill us in minutes. Several aliens made sounds of horror. It gets worse, Morph continued. The planet has violent weather patterns called storms that can destroy entire cities. The water falls from the sky randomly. The ground shakes and splits open. There are massive fires that burn for days. How does anything live there? Elder Poff. The humans not only live there, they seem to enjoy it, Morph said, checking her data. They have something called sports, where they compete in these dangerous conditions. They swim in the poisonous water. They climb the tall, rocky formations for fun. What about their technology? Asked Admiral Zex Cole. This is the strange part, Morph said. They use weapons that create controlled explosions. They shoot small metal pieces at high speed. They have vehicles that move by burning fuel and creating controlled explosions. The audience was shocked. Most galactic weapons used energy beams, or sonic waves. The idea of creating explosions on purpose seemed insane. Have they ever been contacted? Asked Kethvar. No, Morph replied. The council decided they were too dangerous. The file says they are aggressive predators who fight among themselves constantly. It recommends avoiding contact. Fighting among themselves? Asked the tree-like creature. Why would they do that? The report says they compete for resources. In territory, Morph explained. They have something called wars, where large groups fight each other. They have done this for thousands of years. This was almost impossible for the peaceful races to understand. They had evolved on worlds where cooperation was necessary for survival. The idea of beings who fought their own kind was terrifying. Maybe, said Captain Zealand slowly, maybe beings who fight wars would know how to stop the Zephyrians. It's too dangerous, said Elder Poff. If they fight each other, they might fight us too. We are already dying, Kethvar pointed out. The Zephyrians will destroy us all if we do nothing. The debate started again, but this time it was different. They were not just discussing hiding or surrendering. They were talking about asking for help from creatures that might be as dangerous as their enemies. If we contact them, said Admiral Zexcol, we might save our worlds. We might bring an even worse enemy into our galaxy. If we do nothing, Kethvar replied, we will definitely lose everything we care about. The vote was close, but fear of the Zephyrians was stronger then. Fear of the unknown. By a narrow margin, the Galactic Council of Peaceful Worlds voted to send a message to the dangerous creatures of the Death World called Earth as the meeting ended. None of them knew that their desperate decision would change the galaxy forever. They had no idea that the beings they were about to contact would be unlike anything they had ever imagined. The message was sent into the dark of space, carrying with it the hopes and fears of billions of peaceful creatures. Soon, the humans would know that they were not alone in the universe, and the universe would never be the same. Captain Jake Morrison sat in his office at the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, staring at the strangest report he had ever seen. The coffee in his mug had gone cold hours ago, but he barely noticed. His weathered face showed the confusion of a man who had seen combat in 3 different wars but had never encountered anything like this. "Sir, are you sure this is not some kind of joke?" asked Commander Amy Torres as she entered the room. The Marine officer was tough as nails, with short black hair and scars from the Antarctic Liberation Campaign. She looked at the papers on Jake's desk with suspicion. "I wish it was," Jake replied, rubbing his tired eyes. "But this came through official channels. The signal was detected by our deep space monitoring stations 3 days ago. The linguistics team has been working around the clock to decode it." Dr. Lisa Kane knocked on the door and entered without waiting for permission. She was Earth's leading expert on theoretical alien life, though until 3 days ago, her work had been purely academic. Her usually neat blonde hair was messy from working without sleep. "Captain Morrison, I have finished my analysis of the message," she said, setting down a thick folder. "This is definitely not from Earth. The mathematical concepts they use are completely different from ours. But the basic message is clear." Jake leaned back in his chair. "Give me the simple version, Doc." Lisa opened her folder. "They are asking," for help. There is a galactic community of peaceful species that is being attacked by something called the Zephyrian Empire. They want us to send military assistance. Amy laughed, but it was not a happy sound. Military assistance? They don't even know us. How do they know we have a military? That's the interesting part, Lisa said. According to their message, they think we are something called Deathworlders. They believe Earth is so dangerous that anyone who survives here must be incredibly tough. Jake stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see the Rocky Mountains covered in snow. A winter storm was moving in, and the wind was strong enough to bend the trees. To him, it looked like a normal December day in Colorado.
A what?
Do they mean by Deathworld? He asked. Lisa said, checking her notes. They seem to think our planet is trying to kill us. They mention our extreme weather, crushing gravity, and poisonous atmosphere. They also seem terrified that we use what they call explosive weapons. Amy raised an eyebrow. Explosive weapons? You mean guns? And rockets, artillery, grenades, pretty much everything in our arsenal, Lisa confirmed. They're weapons, apparently. Use energy beams that stun enemies without permanent harm. The idea of weapons designed to kill seems to shock them. Jake turned back to face them. What kind of beings are we dealing with here? Based on the message, they appear to be herbivores, Lisa explained. Plant eaters. They evolved on worlds. With no large predators? They have never experienced real violence until this Zephyrian Empire started attacking them. So they are asking the universe's apex predators for help, Amy said with a grin. This should be interesting. Jake's phone rang. It was Admiral Ryan Burke, commander of the entire Earth Defense Force. Morrison, get to the Pentagon immediately. Bring Torres and Kane with you. While 2 hours later, they sat in a secure briefing. Room deep underground? Admiral Burke was a big man with gray hair and the kind of presence that made people listen when he spoke. Around the table were generals, scientists, and politicians from around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Burke began, we are facing a situation that no one in human history has ever dealt with. We have received confirmed contact from an alien civilization. They are asking for our help in a war. He pressed a button, and the wall screen showed a star map. The Zephyrian Empire has been expanding across this region of space for the past year. They have conquered dozens of worlds belonging to something called the Galactic Council of Peaceful Worlds. General Patricia Stone, head of the army, leaned forward. What kind of enemy are we talking about? According to the message, the Zephyrians are militaristic insects with advanced technology, Burke replied. They use energy weapons and have ships that can travel faster than light. However, their weapons appear to be roughly equivalent to our 20th century technology. And the Allies. It's General Carlos Rodriguez from the Air Force. Dr. Kane stood up. The species asking for help appear to be pacifists. They have never fought a real war. Their idea of advanced weaponry is stunning someone unconscious. They have no concept of military strategy as we understand it. So we have peaceful plant eaters asking us to fight militaristic insects, Amy summarized. What's the catch? The catch, Burke said grimly, is that if we say yes, we will be committing Earth to its first interstellar war. We will be fighting enemies we have never seen, in places we have never been, using technology we don't fully understand. What if we say no? Asked Jake. Then the Galactic Council falls, and we eventually face the Zephyrians alone, Burke replied. A militaristic empire that has just conquered dozens of worlds. The room fell silent. Everyone understood the implications. Earth had spent centuries fighting among itself, but this was different. This was about humanity's place in a galaxy they had just learned they were not alone in. What do we know about their technology? Asked Dr. Helen Martinez, Earth's top physicist. They have faster-than-light travel, energy shields, and weapons that can destroy planets, Lisa replied. But their medicine is apparently less advanced than ours. They seem amazed that we can survive injuries that would kill them. Because we evolved on a world that was trying to kill us every day, Amy pointed out. We had to get tough or die. Exactly, Burke said. According to their message, we are the only species they know of that evolved on what they call a death world. They think this makes us uniquely qualified to fight. President Helen Stewart, who had been listening quietly, finally spoke. Are our chances of success? Unknown, Burke admitted. But based on the limited information we have, our weapons might be more effective than they expect. Kinetic weapons like bullets and missiles might penetrate their energy shields, and if we lose, the president asked. Then we lose fighting to protect innocent beings who asked for our help, Jake said. That's better than hiding and waiting. For the enemy to come to us? Burke nodded. I recommend we send a small force as an initial response. 1 ship, 1 battalion of Marines. If the situation is manageable, we can send more. If not, we evacuate and prepare Earth's defenses. Who would lead such a mission? Asked the president. Captain Morrison, Burke said immediately. Yes, experience. In unconventional warfare and first contact situations, Jake felt the weight of history settling on his shoulders. What ship would we use? The USS Defiance, Burke replied. Our newest destroyer. It has the most advanced systems and the best. Crew Dr. Kane raised her hand. I would like to volunteer as the mission's xenobiologist. Someone needs to help our people understand alien psychology. Granted, Burke said. Commander Torres, you will lead the Marine contingent. Amy smiled. Yes, sir. How long do we have? To prepare? The aliens provided coordinates for a hyperspace jump point, Burke said. Our engineers estimate it will take 2 weeks to modify the Defiance for interstellar travel. You will have that time to prepare your people. As the meeting ended, Jake found himself walking with Lisa and Amy toward the exit. The weight of what they were about to do was beginning to sink in. Are we really going to do this? Lisa asked. Leave Earth to fight in an alien war? We are going to try to help people who ask for our protection, Jake replied. If that means fighting, then we fight. Amy nodded. Besides, it will be interesting to see how tough these Deathworlders really are. 2 weeks later, the USS Defiance sat on the launch pad, loaded with Marines, weapons, and supplies. The crew had trained intensively in alien contact protocols and space combat. They had studied everything known about the Zephyrian Empire and their peaceful allies. Captain Morrison stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, creatures he had never seen were fighting for their lives against an enemy that wanted to destroy everything they had built. All stations report ready, announced Lieutenant Commander Rick Davis, the ship's executive officer. Begin. Launch sequence, Jake ordered. The Defiance lifted off from Earth, carrying with it humanity's first steps into the larger galaxy. The crew did not know that their arrival would change the balance of power forever. They did not know that the peaceful aliens who had called for help were about to discover what it meant to have Deathworlders as allies. All they knew was that someone had asked for help. And humans had never been good at saying no to people in trouble. The ship disappeared into hyperspace, carrying Earth's warriors toward their first galactic war. The USS Defiance dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system with a flash of blue light. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, watching the tactical display as it painted a picture of the battle ahead. What he saw made his blood run cold. My God, whispered Lieutenant Commander Rick Davis. There must be 100 alien ships out there. The Galactic Council fleet was trapped near the 4th planet. Their beautiful ships looked like works of art, with smooth curves and glowing energy fields. But they were surrounded by the dark, angular vessels of the Zephyrian Empire. The enemy ships looked like giant metal insects, all sharp edges and weapon ports. Sir, we're receiving a transmission, reported Communications Officer Linda Park. It's from the Council fleet. Put it through, Jake ordered. The main screen flickered, and suddenly they were looking at an alien face. The being was tall and thin, with blue skin and 4 arms. His large eyes were filled with desperation and fear. Unknown vessel, the alien said in heavily accented English. This is Admiral Zexkol of the Galactic Council Defense Fleet. Please identify yourself and state your intentions. Jake stepped forward. Admiral, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth Defense Force. We received your message asking for help. The alien's eyes went wide. You are the humans? The Deathworlders? We prefer to be called humans, Jake replied with a slight smile. We came as soon as we could. Admiral Zexkol looked confused. But there is only one of your ships, we expected. A fleet. Sometimes one ship is enough, Jake said. What's your tactical situation? We are trapped, the alien admiral admitted. The Zephyrians have us surrounded. Our shields are failing, and our weapons cannot penetrate their armor, we estimate. 20 minutes before they break through our defenses, Jake looked at his tactical officer. Lieutenant Williams, what do you see? Lieutenant Mike Williams studied his screens. The alien ships are using energy weapons and particle beams. The Council ships have energy shields, but no armor. The Zephyrian ships have heavy armor, but their shields seem weaker. Perfect, Jake said. Our railgun should punch right through their armor. Dr. Lisa Kane, who was monitoring the conversation from the science station, looked worried. Captain, the aliens seem terrified of us. Look at their body language. Glanced at the screen. Admiral Zexkol was backing away from the camera, and other aliens in the background were making nervous gestures. Admiral Jake said gently, "We're here to help. We're not your enemy." "But you are predators," the alien whispered. "Your eyes face forward. Your teeth are designed for tearing meat. The report said your entire species evolved to hunt and kill." "We also evolved to protect our friends," Jake replied. "Right now, you're our friends." Before the alien could respond, warning alarms blared on both ships. The Zephyrian fleet was moving to attack. "Admiral, get your people to safety," Jake ordered. "We'll handle this." "But you are only one ship," Zexkol protested. "Trust me, Jake," said with a grin that made the alien flinch. "We've dealt with worse odds." The transmission ended, and Jake turned to his crew. "All hands, battle stations. This is what we trained for." The bridge transformed as the crew moved to their combat positions. Red lights flashed, and the ship's systems hummed with power. Unlike the peaceful aliens, every human on the bridge showed calm determination instead of fear. "Weapons hot," reported Weapons Officer Sarah Kim. "All railgun batteries loaded and ready. Fighters launching," announced Flight Control Officer Danny Chen. 2 squadrons ready for engagement. The Zephyrian ships were massive, each one 3 times the size of the Defiance. Their hulls were covered in armor plating and bristling with weapons. They moved in formation like a pack of predators closing in for the kill. "Incoming transmission from the Zephyrian fleet," Linda reported. "Let's hear what they have to say," Jake said. The screen showed a creature that looked like a giant praying mantis covered in metal armor. Its compound eyes glowed red and razor-sharp mandibles clicked menacingly. "Inferior species," the Zephyrian commander hissed. "You will surrender immediately or be destroyed. Your single vessel cannot stand against the might of the Zephyrian Empire." "You know," Jake said casually, "we get that a lot. Usually from people who end up regretting it." "You dare mock the Empire?" The alien snarled. "We have conquered 47 worlds. We have crushed every enemy we have faced." "Then you haven't faced the right enemies," Jake replied. "This is your only warning. Leave this system now, or we will remove you." The Zephyrian commander made a sound like grinding metal. "Destroy them. Show these weaklings what happens to those who defy the Empire." The transmission ended, and immediately the Zephyrian ships opened fire. Energy beams lanced across space, striking the Defiance's shields. The ship shook, but the shields held. "Shields at 80%, reported the damage control officer. "No significant damage." "Their weapons are weaker than expected," Sarah observed. "These energy beams are less powerful than our own plasma cannons." "Return fire," Jake ordered. "Show them what kinetic weapons can do." The Defiance's railguns fired in sequence, launching tungsten projectiles at incredible speed. The first salvo struck the lead Zephyrian ship, and the crew watched in satisfaction as the rounds punched straight through the alien armor like it was made of paper. "Direct hit," Sarah reported. "Their armor is designed to stop energy weapons, not solid projectiles." "Excellent," Jake said. "Continue firing. Target their weapon systems." The human fighters joined the battle, their pilots demonstrating the kind of three-dimensional thinking that came from evolving on a world with flying predators. The Zephyrian pilots, used to enemies who thought in terms of up and down, found themselves outmaneuvered by humans who could think in all directions at once. "Enemy fighter formation breaking up," reported Danny. Our pilots are running circles. Around them, Commander Amy Torres was in the Marine Bay, watching the battle on the tactical displays. Her Marines were in full combat gear, ready to board enemy ships if needed. They had trained for this moment, but seeing it happen was different. From simulation, look at that, said Sergeant Maria Gonzalez, pointing to the screen. Their ships are huge, but they're not built for real combat. All those weapons, but no proper armor? They're used to fighting enemies who use stunning weapons, Amy replied. They never learned to build ships that could survive real warfare. The battle was turning quickly in humanity's favor. The Zephyrian ships were taking heavy damage, their armor failing under the constant barrage of railgun fire. Several ships were already drifting powerless, their crews evacuating in escape pods. Sir Mike Williams reported the Zephyrian fleet is beginning to withdraw, trying to retreat to the edge of the system. Let them go, Jake ordered. We're not here to conquer. We're here to protect. Admiral Zek Skoll's face appeared on the screen again. The alien looked stunned. How did you do that? Zephyrians were supposed to be invincible. They were good at fighting enemies who didn't want to hurt them, Jake explained. We're good at fighting enemies who want to destroy us. There's a difference. Your weapons, the alien said weakly. They cut through our strongest armor like it was nothing. Kinetic weapons, Jake said. We learned a long time ago that sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. Dr. Kane stepped forward. Admiral, we'd like to provide medical assistance to your wounded. Our doctor is standing by. Medical assistance. Zek Skoll looked confused. But you are predators. Why would you help heal the injured? Because that's what friends do, Jake said simply. We may be predators, but we're also protectors. We don't just hunt, we defend those who can't defend themselves. The alien admiral was quiet for a long moment. The council was right to contact. You are not what we expected. What did you expect? Jake asked. Monsters, Zek Skoll admitted. Your beings as cruel and violent as the Zephyrians, but you fight to protect, not to destroy. That's the difference between predators and murderers, Jake said. A predator kills when necessary. A murderer kills for pleasure. As the human medical team prepared to transfer to the alien ships, Jake looked out at the stars. The battle was won, but he knew this was just the beginning. Zephyrians would be back, and next time they would be ready for kinetic weapons. But humanity would be ready too. For the first time in galactic history, the peaceful species had allies who knew how to fight. The Deathworlders had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. Set course for the Council flagship, Jake ordered. Let's meet our new allies. Properly. The USS Defiance moved toward the alien fleet, carrying with it the hopes of a species that had never known war and the promise of a species that had never known surrender. The age of galactic peace was over, but the age of galactic protection had just begun. Dr. Kelly Price stepped off the shuttle and onto the Council flagship for the first time. The alien ship was beautiful, but strange. Everything was curved and smooth, with soft lighting that changed colors like a rainbow. The air smelled like flowers, and gentle music played in the background. Welcome aboard the Harmony's Dream, said Admiral Zek Skoll as he approached. The tall blue alien moved carefully, as if he was afraid Kelly might attack him. We are honored by your presence, though we admit we are also frightened. Kelly smiled, but quickly stopped when she saw the alien take a step backward. I'm sorry. I forgot that our smiles scare you. It is not your fault, Zek Skoll said. Your species shows teeth when happy. Our species only shows teeth when angry or about to attack. Behind the Admiral, other aliens watched from a safe distance. Kelly could see representatives from dozens of different species. Some looked like walking trees, others like floating jellyfish, and some like giant butterflies. They all had one thing in common. They were all staring at her with fear and curiosity. But where? Are you wounded? Kelly asked, opening her medical kit. This way? Zek Skoll replied, leading her down a corridor that seemed to glow with its own light. But I must warn you, some of our people are very badly hurt. We do not know if they will survive. They entered what Kelly assumed was the medical bay. It looked more like a garden than a hospital, with plants growing everywhere and soft beds that looked like giant flower petals. Injured aliens lay on the beds, some unconscious, others making soft sounds of pain. What kind of medical equipment do you have? Kelly asked. We have scanners that can diagnose injuries, said the ship's doctor, a creature that looked like a walking flower with eyes. We have medicines that can ease pain and help the body heal naturally, but we cannot fix serious damage. Kelly looked around the room with amazement. No surgery? No emergency treatment? Surgery means cutting into the body, the alien doctor said with horror. We could never hurt someone to help them. That makes no sense. On my world, we cut into the body to fix problems inside, Kelly explained. We can replace broken bones, repair damaged organs, even replace entire body parts. The alien doctor's petals drooped. Your world must be very dangerous if you learn to do such things. Dangerous enough, Kelly agreed. She approached the first patient, a small, fuzzy creature that looked like a teddy bear. What happened to this one? Energy burn from a Zephyrian weapon, Zexkol explained. The burn goes deep into the body. We cannot heal it. Kelly examined the wound with her scanner. It was serious, but not life-threatening by human standards. I can fix this, but I'll need to use human medical techniques. Will it hurt? Asked the alien doctor. I'll use pain medication. The patient won't feel anything. Kelly worked quickly, cleaning and treating the wound with tools that seemed impossibly advanced to the aliens. She injected medicine directly into the injury, used a device that encouraged tissue growth, and bandaged the wound with material that would help it heal faster. How did you do that? The alien doctor whispered. Basic trauma surgery, Kelly replied. On Earth, this would be considered a minor injury. Minor. Zexkol stared at her. That creature was dying. On Earth, we survive much worse injuries all the time, Kelly said as she moved to the next patient. Our bodies are designed to heal from damage. Your bodies seem more fragile. Meanwhile, on the USS Defiance, engineer Tony Clark was working with alien technicians to repair damaged ships. The aliens watched in amazement as Tony lifted heavy components that took 3 of them to carry. How are you so strong? Asked Chief Engineer Vexmore, a creature that looked like a metal spider. Your world must have terrible gravity. Actually, our gravity is pretty normal, Tony replied, connecting power cables with his bare hands. This is just regular human strength. The alien engineer's metal legs clicked nervously. Regular strength. You just lifted a power core that weighs 200 standard units. That's only about 400 pounds, Tony said. I can lift heavier things back home. The aliens exchanged worried glances. They were beginning to understand that humans were not just mentally tough, they were physically superior in almost every way. On the Council ship's training deck, Sergeant Maria Gonzalez was trying to teach alien security forces basic combat techniques. It was not going well. No, Maria said patiently. When someone shoots at you, you don't stand still and hope they miss. You find cover and shoot back. The alien security chief, a tall creature with 6 arms, looked confused. But if we hide, how do we see what they are doing? You peek around. The corner, Maria explained. It's like this. She demonstrated proper cover techniques, showing how to use walls and furniture to protect yourself while still being able to fight. The aliens tried to copy her movements, but they were clumsy and slow. This is very difficult, complained one of the security officers, a creature that looked like a walking crystal. We have never needed to hide from enemies before. Because you've never fought real enemies before, Maria replied. The Zephyrians want to kill you. You need to think like they do. But we don't want to kill them, the crystal being said. We want them to stop attacking us. Maria sighed. Sometimes the only way to stop someone from hurting you is to hurt them back. That's not evil. That's survival. Back on the medical deck, Kelly had finished treating the wounded aliens. Every patient was stable and healing rapidly. The alien. Medical staff watched her work with a mixture of awe and fear. Your medicine is incredible, said the flower-like doctor, but it is also terrifying. You treat the body like a machine that can be fixed. Bodies are biological machines, Kelly replied. When something breaks, you fix it. When something is infected, you kill the infection. When something is missing, you replace it. Do you not worry about the spirit of the patient? Asked another alien medic. We worry about keeping the patient alive, Kelly said. A dead patient doesn't have a spirit to worry about. Later, Captain Morrison met with Admiral Zex Cole and other council leaders in the ship's conference room. The meeting was tense, with aliens sitting as far from the humans as possible. We need to understand your people, Zex Cole said carefully. Your capabilities are far beyond what we expected. What did you expect? Jake asked. Warriors replied. Elder Poff from the fuzzy, bear-like species. Beings who could fight the Zephyrians. We did not expect beings who could heal the unhealable, lift the unliftable, and fight in ways we cannot comprehend. We're just people, Jake said. We do what we have to do to survive. No, said a representative from the tree-like species. You are something more. You are what we could become if our worlds tried to kill us every day. Ambassador Kethvar leaned forward. Tell us about your world. What made you so different from us? Jake thought for a moment. Earth doesn't care. If we live or die, the weather can kill us. The animals can kill us. Even the plants can kill us. We had to become strong or we would have died out long ago. And so you learned to fight, Zex Cole said. We learned to fight everything, Jake corrected. Disease, injury, predators, each other, even our own planet. We became good at surviving because we had to. But you also learned to protect each other, observed a floating jellyfish-like creature. You could have become like the Zephyrians, taking what you wanted by force. Some of us did, Jake admitted. We had wars, slavery, genocide. We made terrible mistakes. But we also learned that cooperation is stronger than competition. We learned that protecting the weak makes everyone stronger. That is why you came when we called, Zex Cole said with understanding. Not because you wanted to conquer, but because you wanted to protect. That's what good people do, Jake said simply. They help those who can't help themselves. Dr. Kane, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. Admiral, there's something you need to understand. We're not just different from you physically, we're different mentally too. We think about problems differently. How so? Asked Zex Cole. You see the Zephyrians as a problem to be solved through negotiation, Kane explained. We see them as a threat to be eliminated. You try to find peaceful solutions. We prepare for war while hoping for peace. Is that why you won so easily? Asked Elder Poof. We won because we understood the enemy, Jake replied. The Zephyrians respect strength and despise weakness. They will never stop attacking until they are forced to stop, and you can force them to stop? Zex Cole asked. We can try, Jake said. But it will require you to accept that sometimes violence is the only answer to violence. These were beings who had spent thousands of years avoiding violence, and now they were being told that violence might be necessary for survival. What do you need from us? Zex Cole finally asked. Let us train your people, Jake said. Let us show you how to fight, how to survive, how to protect what you care about. We can't fight this war for you, but we can teach you how to fight it yourselves. And if we refuse, asked another alien, then the Zephyrians will eventually win, Jake said honestly. They understand war better than you do. But they don't understand it better than we do. The council members looked at each other nervously. They were being asked to change everything they believed about conflict and survival. We will need time to consider this, Zex Cole said finally. Time is something you don't have much of, Jake replied. 6 months after first contact, the Galactic Council met on Earth for the first time in their history. The meeting was held in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, in a specially built facility that could accommodate dozens of different alien species. Most of the delegates wore environmental suits to protect them from what they still considered Earth's dangerous conditions. Ambassador Kethvar stepped out of his transport shuttle and immediately put on an extra layer of protective gear. The thin mountain air and cold wind made him shiver, even inside his suit. Around him, other aliens moved carefully, as if expecting the planet to attack them at any moment. Welcome to Earth, said President Helen Stewart, greeting the delegation. She wore only a light jacket against the cold, which made several aliens whisper nervously among themselves. Your world is as dangerous as the reports claimed, Kethvar replied through his translator. The atmospheric pressure is crushing, And the temperature variations are extreme. This is actually a nice day, the president said with a smile. Until you see what we call winter. The formal session began in the main hall, where representatives from 47 different species gathered around a circular table. At the center sat Captain Morrison, now promoted to Admiral of the newly formed Galactic Defense Force. 6 months ago, you called for help, Morrison began. Today we are here to discuss the future of galactic security. Elder Poff from the Maloia system raised her furry hand. Admiral Morrison, the Zephyrian Empire has retreated to their home systems. They have not attacked any Council worlds since your arrival. Have we won? No, Morrison replied firmly. We have gained time. The Zephyrians are studying our tactics and building new weapons. They will return stronger than before. What do you recommend? Asked Admiral Zexkul, who now served as the Council's military coordinator. We need to prepare for a longer war, Morrison explained. The Zephyrians will not give up easily. They will adapt, and we must be ready for them. Dr. Kane stood up. From her seat at the science table, we have been studying Zephyrian psychology and culture. They are a species that only respects strength. Our victory in the first battle impressed them, but it also made them more determined to defeat us. So what do we do? Asked the representative from the Crystal Collective. We train, said Commander Torres, who had been promoted to General of the Galactic Marine Corps. We have established training centers on 12 different worlds. Your people are learning human military tactics adapted for their unique abilities. The alien delegates looked uncomfortable. Many of them still struggled with the concept of organized violence, even for defense. How are our people adapting to this training? Asked Zexkul. Better than expected, Torres replied. The Altarians have excellent reflexes and make good. Pilots, the Maloians, are naturally stealthy and excel at reconnaissance. The Crystal Collective can coordinate attacks through their mental links, and the humans, asked Elder Poff. We are teaching strategy and tactics, Morrison said. But your people are teaching us about cooperation and peaceful problem-solving. We are learning from each other. The discussion continued for hours, covering everything from ship design to diplomatic protocols. The aliens were slowly accepting that their peaceful galaxy had changed forever. In the mountains outside the meeting hall, the first class of alien Marines was completing their training. Sergeant Maria Gonzalez watched as her mixed-species unit practiced urban combat scenarios. Remember, she called out, the enemy can't hurt you if they can't see you. Use the terrain, use cover, think like predators. A young Altarian soldier named Kexton moved through the training course with fluid grace. His forearms allowed him to carry multiple weapons while maintaining perfect balance. Behind him, a Maloian named Fluff Whiskers used her natural camouflage to become nearly invisible. Good work, Maria said as the exercise ended. You're starting to think like soldiers. Is that good or bad? Asked Kexton. It's necessary, Maria replied. Your people are peaceful by nature, but the galaxy isn't peaceful anymore. You need to be ready to fight for your peace. Meanwhile, in the orbital shipyards above Earth, human and alien engineers worked together to design new warships. The ships combined the best of both technologies, human weapons and armor with alien shields and faster-than-light drives. Chief Engineer Tony Clark supervised the construction of the first hybrid battleship. The vessel was sleek like alien designs, but heavily armed like human ships. It represented something new in the galaxy, a weapon of war built by peaceful beings who had learned to fight. The weapon systems are integrated, reported his Altarian assistant, Engineer Vexkul. The railguns can fire through the energy shields without interference. Excellent, Tony said. How about the armor? Composite plating uses both human metallurgy and alien energy absorption, Vexkul replied. Yet, it should stop both kinetic and energy weapons. As they worked, Tony noticed how much the aliens had changed. 6 months ago, they had been terrified of human weapons. Now they were helping to build even more powerful ones. Back at the conference, the discussion had turned to the long-term future of the galaxy. The Zephyrians will eventually be defeated, Morrison said, but what happens after that? How do we prevent another aggressive species from rising? We become the Guardians, said Ambassador Kethvar. With humans as our partners, We can protect the peaceful worlds from any threat. That's a big responsibility, Morrison warned. Iddy, are you ready for it? We have to be, replied Elder Poff. The alternative is to live in fear forever. Dr. Kane activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. We propose the formation of the Terran Defense Compact. Earth will serve as the military headquarters, with training facilities and shipyards. Throughout Council space. And if other species want to join, asked the Crystal Collective representative. They will be welcome, Morrison said, as long as they agree to protect the innocent and defend the weak. What about species that refuse to join? Asked Zexkol. They will be left alone, Morrison replied, unless they threaten Council worlds. We are not conquerors, we are protectors. The vote was unanimous. The Terran Defense Compact was formally established, with Earth as its military capital and the Council worlds as its protected members. As the meeting ended, Morrison found himself standing on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. Dr. Kane joined him, along with several alien friends they had made during the past months. Do you think we did the right thing? Kane asked. We did what was necessary, Morrison replied. The galaxy needed protectors, and we were the only ones who knew how to protect, but at what cost? Asked Zexkol, who had followed them. We have given up our peaceful ways to learn the ways of war. You haven't given up peace, Morrison said. You've learned to fight for it. There's a difference. Will the Zephyrians really return? Asked Elderpoff. Probably, Morrison admitted. But when they do, they'll find a galaxy that's ready for them. They'll find peaceful beings who have learned to be warriors when necessary. 3 months later, the Zephyrian Empire sent a message to the Galactic Council. It was short and to the point. They requested a peace treaty and offered to withdraw from all conquered worlds. The message was broadcast across the galaxy, and for the first time in a year, the peaceful species felt hope instead of fear. They're afraid of us, Torres said with satisfaction as she read the message. They're afraid of what we've become, Morrison corrected. A galaxy of peaceful beings who refuse to be victims. The peace treaty was signed on Earth, in the same hall where the Defense Compact had been formed. The Zephyrian ambassador, a massive insect-like creature, seemed smaller somehow as he agreed to the terms. You have taught the galaxy a new way of thinking, he said to Morrison. We respect strength, and you have shown us that protection is a form of strength. We're not going anywhere, Morrison replied. If you threaten the innocent again, we'll be ready. As the ceremony ended, Morrison looked around at the mixed crowd of humans and aliens. Children from different species played together in the gardens outside. While their parents discussed art, science, and philosophy, the galaxy had changed. The peaceful beings had learned to fight, and the fighters had learned to protect. It was a new kind of peace, one built on strength rather than weakness, on preparation rather than hope, and in the depths of space. New worlds looked up at the stars without fear, knowing that somewhere out there, the Deathworlders were watching. Over them, the age of galactic peace had ended, but the age of galactic protection had begun. And that, Morrison thought, was exactly what the universe needed.